So this is a project that has a number of supervisors and students, all who are listed here. But where this started is there was a conversation that was initiated by Prof. Koza Shangazi, who introduced us to the digital arts department and Dr. Alu, and we realized that digital arts has the potential to be really helpful in helping solve some really difficult third world problems and be really helpful in the space of audiology. So what we did was we got a couple of students of Dr. Alu to engage in this project and really think about projects and topics that would meet the requirements for helping with this very difficult and very this area of audiology, about all areas of audiology, and the collaboration started there. But I'm actually now going to stop sharing and introduce our first speaker, who is Zama. You're up, and each student will present their research, and at the end, we'll be willing to take questions. So over to Zama.
Thank you, Dr. Moodley. Good day all, my name is Zama Hlatwayo, and I'm honored to introduce to you my website, Here and Now, in collaboration with the Audiology Department. Here and Now is a digital awareness platform focused on hearing health within a South African context. Its purpose is to educate, inform, and engage users through interactive content and visuals that promote better understanding of hearing health. The website is being developed because there is a growing risk of noise-induced hearing loss in South Africa from sources like festivals, minibus taxis, construction sites, and vuvuzelas at sports events. Combined with a wealth of misinformation online about preventative care, the platform addresses the need for clear education and incentivizes action to protect hearing. The project began with initial wireframes, which provided a basic sense of layouts and structure. At that stage, I focused on the main pages to really bring the concepts to life and to define the website's core objectives based on the user research conducted. In due time, the live website will present a fully developed experience with polished user interface elements, a consistent design system, and engaging content. The website incorporates several core features that highlight both usability and technical execution. A dynamic article system allows educational content to be structured and easily accessible. Responsive layouts adapt seamlessly across desktop and mobile devices, ensuring accessibility to all users regardless of devices used. Additional features include a search functionality, an interactive gallery, and an avatar targeting engaged learning, and a section where users will be able to see how they can get involved. I will be demonstrating the developed pages on the live website. We are met with the homepage where users will be able to access featured articles and a quick link to what happened during World Hearing Day. On the About Us page, there will be a short description of what Here and Now is and the core objectives for the website, as well as a quote. The awareness page gives an overview, or will give an overview rather, of anything and everything dedicated to raising awareness about hearing health, including a resources page where you'll see the aforementioned research articles that users can look through. The Get Involved page is a page where users can find a way to get involved by fundraising, volunteering, and advocacy. And finally, a Contact Us page where users can reach out should the need arise. In the current status of the website is currently going through the development stage. With it, the next stage that we will be going through is the analytics stage, where we can have Google Data Analytics set up user engagement, as well as the next steps where I will be refining the accessibility, inputting content, expanding educational resources such as guides, and conceptualizing the avatar. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Zama. Sebastian.
Good afternoon to all speakers as well as esteemed guests. My name is Sibahle Zwane, and I'm a fourth-year student in digital arts, majoring in game design and animation. For this collaboration, my project is a game themed around teaching people about safe listening practices. The game is titled Frequent Escape, which is a 2D educational platformer, and players progress through 12 levels that gradually increase in difficulty. Along the way, there are information speed points that share important facts about ear hygiene and safe listening habits. These points don't just provide knowledge, but also help players solve bigger puzzles that appear after every fourth level. At this stage, I'm working on the second prototype of my game. And in simple terms, a prototype is a test version that lays out the basic gameplay and visuals just to establish the overall mood and aesthetic. For example, in my game, there are speakers that shake the screen when players collide into them. And this is to emulate the vibrations of loud music and highlight the risks of noise exposure. Right now, the obstacles are basic blocks, but these will later be replaced with ear-themed objects to tie into the theme more directly into audiology. There will also be a point system that introduces a risk and reward system that encourages players to carefully balance their choices. The levels are designed to gradually build skills within players. As you can see, level 1 is easy and helps players learn the mechanics. By level 5, the obstacles speed up and demand more precision. Level 9 introduces the hardest challenges with new layouts, requiring strong timing and memory. These skills are critical because moving too quickly or too slowly can result in players having to restart the level while remembering the information gained, and this becomes essential for solving the bigger puzzles. To briefly conclude, my approach has been to keep the design simple yet focused. Because this is an educational game, I want players to walk away with real knowledge and awareness. Too many distractions would take away from the main purpose. Hence, I leaned into the idea that less is more. Thank you.
Thank you, Sebastian. Dylan.
Hi everyone, I'm Dylan Gopal, and this is Echoes of Sound, an audiology adventure, a game that helps kids learn about hearing tests in a safe and fun way. In the game, players take control of a child who is visiting the audiologist. The structure of the game mirrors a real audiology visit, but everything is presented in a gentle, child-friendly way. The journey starts in a cozy bedroom and then moves to the audiology clinic. At the audiology clinic, children take part in mini games that simulate real hearing tests. This includes pure tone audiology test, where identifying different pitches, and then a directional hearing where they figure out where the sound is coming from. The first mini game is called the animal game, which is based off a pure tone audiology test. Here the child listens to a tone that is linked to the big five. For example, a deep tone could be related to an elephant, whereas a higher pitch could be related to a panther purring. The child then chooses the correct animal based off the sound. The game is structured in 3 stages. We have a tutorial, a practice round, and a full test. Each stage gently builds confidence and familiarity with the task. The educational purpose is clear. Children begin to understand the sounds can have different pitches or frequencies. But because the task is framed in an animal guessing game, it feels playful rather than clinical. This allows children to learn through curiosity and fun. The second mini game is focused around directional hearing. This is where the child has to figure out where the sound is coming from, whether it's the left-hand side, right-hand side, or both ears. Again, this mirrors a real audiology test, but has been adapted to format that feels more friendly rather than a medical procedure. One of the biggest parts of this project is the design, because it needs to cater towards children. So firstly, the interface is very simple. There are no complicated characters, movements, or control systems. Instead, it's everything is done either by tapping or clicking. Secondly, the visuals are intentionally soft and non-threatening. The colors are warm, the icons are clear, and the characters' communication is through a speech bubble and encouraging messages. Thirdly, the game is built around positive reinforcement. If the child makes a mistake, they are gently guided to trying again rather than being punished for failure. Process and what is next. So currently, I have a full developed prototype with both games that are functioning. The user interface is functional but does need a bit of work. The prototype and practice areas or scenes are functioning. The next steps for me are to just polish everything and make it more realistic in terms of the sound being authentic and usable. Okay. And to conclude, Echoes of Sound is an audiology adventure that is more than just a game. It bridges the world between healthcare and world of gameplay. By blending storytelling, education, and interactive fun, it helps children approach hearing tests allows children to approach hearing tests with more confidence rather than fear. Thank you.
Thanks, Dylan. Musa, your name?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Musa Nkosi Madlala, and my master's research is about bringing together two fields that don't often meet, video games and audiology. The idea is simple but powerful: to create a mobile game that doubles as a hearing screening tool for children age 5 and older. Why a game? Because games are engaging, playful, and accessible. For children, sitting in a clinic and listening for beeps can be intimidating or boring. But if those same sounds are turned into a fun challenge, like catching an animal that makes a sound or beating a drum when you hear it, the child stays motivated and will still gather the important data. Now for the audiology side. Hearing screening depends on testing a range of frequencies. Low frequencies like 125 or 500 hertz helps identify the fullness of sound. Mid frequencies like 1000 and 2000 are crucial for speech clarity, and higher frequencies like 4000 and 8000 hertz pick up consonants and early signs of hearing loss. By embedding these sounds into different game levels, the child experiences play, while the system quietly records whether they can hear each tone. This creates a playful but structured way to pick up potential hearing problems early. But what makes this project unique is it's in the African context. Many tools used globally are designed in Western settings and don't reflect our culture or environment. My game will draw on these African themes, sounds, and visuals, drums, valleys, and homelands that children can recognize by incorporating philosophies like Ubuntu. The game isn't just functional, it feels like it was made for us. This cultural relevance is critical for making children comfortable, engaging them fully, and ensuring parents and teachers see that value in the tool. Ultimately, the project is about accessibility. In South Africa, many children don't get early hearing tests because there aren't enough audiologists or resources in schools and communities. A mobile game changes that. It allows parents, teachers, or even community health workers to use something familiar, a phone, to get early insight into a child's hearing health. If a problem is detected, the child can be referred to a proper follow-up with an audiologist. So in summary, this project brings together the creativity of games, the precision of audiology, and identity of African culture. It shows that two very different industries can work together and solve real-world problems in innovative and locally relevant ways. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Musa. Owetu, you're next. Owetu, are you with us? Yes.
Yes, sorry, I'm still here. Okay, so good day to you all. Hopefully you can all hear me. My name is Olatushazi, and today I'll be presenting just a brief overview of my master's project titled Virtual Reality for Relevant Vestibular Assessment, Enhancing Hearing Localization in African Healthcare. So this research aims to address gaps in accessible diagnostic tools by combining immersive VR with healthcare needs in the African context. So in Africa, vestibular and auditory disorders often go undiagnosed due to the lack of accessible and affordable tools. Current systems are expensive, they require specialized facilities, and are often not adapted to the cultural and environmental context of African patients. This creates a significant barrier to early detection and treatment. So what my research aims to do is to develop a VR-based diagnostic tool that uses immersive African environments and culturally relevant soundscapes. This tool is designed to test vestibular function while being more accessible and engaging to patients. So I'll prototype the system using Unity and Blender, integrating sound localization tasks based on familiar African soundscapes like birds, traffic, taxi ranks, or marketplaces. A pilot study will, with both healthcare practitioners and patients from the University of Wits, will evaluate the system, and then the technology acceptance model will guide the research to assess usability, acceptance, and potential adoption. So this research will aim to contribute by offering a lower cost, culturally relevant, and engaging diagnostic tool. By incorporating familiar environments, the tool will aim to potentially reduce patient anxiety, leading to better diagnostic outcomes and supporting early intervention. And in conclusion, this project explores how VR can transform healthcare accessibility in Africa by bridging tech, culture, and medicine. It will hopefully represent a step towards equitable healthcare innovation and improved diagnostic care. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to any feedback.
Thank you, Owetu. And then we have Joy.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joyce Greiker, and today I'll be sharing my project titled Reclaiming the Colored Identity through Audiology, Media, and Hearing Health. My project combines hearing health, media representation, and digital art to raise awareness about hearing loss. The goal is to reclaim the colored identity as valid and multifaceted, while highlighting how cultural context affects access to care and representation. Through case studies and creative design, I aim to make hearing health information and more relatable and culturally grounded. The first case study looked at sound engineers who faced high risks of noise-induced hearing loss. Out of 8 participants, most reported tinnitus and early signs of hearing damage, yet none had access to proper hearing conservation programs. The study recommended affordable hearing protection, regular noise monitoring, and education to prevent long-term damage. The second case study examines children's exposure to noise, showing that damage is often subtle, cumulative, and starts much earlier than we realize. Modern technology like smartphones, video games, and louder cinemas has only increased the risk. Prevention needs to focus on early awareness, parental education, and stricter regulations for noise exposure. The third case study explores how South African media often portrays colored people through narrow, negative stereotypes, such as gang-ridden townships or tragic mulatto. In contrast, local hip-hop groups and the use of Gamtal reclaim identity and language, offering counter-narratives that reflect the community's diversity and strength. To bring all of these elements together, I designed an Afrocentric digital avatar to reflect a complex, authentic colored identity. This process involved research, sketches, feedback, and iteration. The avatar aims to make hearing health messages more accessible and to challenge stereotypes through visual storytelling. Overall, this project shows that hearing health is not just a medical issue, it's deeply social and cultural. Misrepresentation affects how people see themselves and how they access care. My next steps are to finalize the avatar, animate her, and add a voiceover rooted in a local language, making health educational, personal, inclusive, and cultural affirming. Thank you.
We are happy to take any questions that may have come up from those presentations. What the students have really worked hard on is making this culturally relevant and really embody the South African spirit and the South African context. So we're happy to take any questions.
Alex, please feel free to post your questions. I'm just checking if there's anything on the paddling. Nothing there.
I have a question.
Please go ahead, Dom.
Thanks. So I'm wondering kind of exactly how the collaboration worked with digital arts and audiology. For example, was it only the digital arts students who used programs like Unity, or did audiology students start getting into that sort of digital software? So how did you structure collaboration?
Thank you for that question. So it was a conversation between the audiology department and Dr. Olu Randall at the digital arts department. And with that, Dr. Olu then asked students who would be interested in projects. Students raised their hands. There was a discussion about what the appropriate topics would be and how we would be able to supervise those projects, and then supervisors from the audiology department were allocated in addition to supervisors from the digital arts department, and it's an ongoing collaboration. So it is digital arts students.
Thanks.
Thank you. I think you're just from my side, perhaps out of curiosity, these projects are beautiful blends of digital arts with audiology in a culturally grounded way. I'm just curious to kind of gauge and this approach being adaptable to other areas of healthcare and how it might transform patient engagement or education beyond audiology.
Definitely, Jacqueline. I think the idea is we're starting with this,
Right.
and with the avatars and with the culturally relevant tools, we actually plan to take this a lot further into other African countries and to actually have this adapted into different languages to make it multilingual. And yes, then eventually adapted into other areas of healthcare, yes.
That's excellent, excellent. And just another question on the here and now, that sort of website that's put together, is that on a WITS sort of domain? Was it still being worked on?
Zama, do you want to take that?
Yes. Thank you for your question. It's still being worked on. For now, the focus is for the exam. After submitting the exam, that is when Dr. Moodley and Dr. Olu and the rest of the supervisors and I will discuss how we will have it publicly available, whether it be on the WITS domain or any other way.
Great, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments from the I think we do. Please go ahead, Shane.
Thank you, colleagues. So I'm interested to know it's a collaboration. I see in terms of skills, cross-pollination of skills, in terms of learning softwares such as Unity and so forth. What's the opportunities for learning new skills in terms of game development and so forth? I'm just interested in that aspect. Is there opportunities to learn new for the collaborations for you to develop new skills? Thanks.
Dr. Olu, I'm not sure if you're online.
Yeah,
Do you
I
want
am
to take
online.
that? Yes, thank you.
As you know, the School of Arts is currently working on different short learning programs. One of the short learning programs will be game development for beginners. So we intend to roll it out next year. Once the school approves it, then it will be available to all departments and anybody who is interested in learning these skills.
Thank you. Brett, do you want to unmute and go ahead with your question?
Sure, thank you. Thanks so much, colleagues, and lovely to hear these students present their work. And congratulations, my colleague, Dr. Randall. It's really exciting to see these sorts of collaborations. And earlier today, we had another presentation looking at multi and inter and transdisciplinary collaborations elsewhere in the School of Arts. So I'm wanting to just also, in a sense, this picks up on Shane's question. It seems to me that it was purely digital arts students who presented today, but was there a element of collaboration with students in audiology? And would one approach this as a project about data visualization through the medium of games of material that is essentially provided by the field of audiology? Or do you think that in the process of working on these projects, this group of students have learned some new skills, that there might be some synthesis of perspectives between the respective disciplines?
Thank you for that question. In terms of the collaboration between the students in both departments, it was mainly digital art students at the moment, because as we were conceptualizing this, we realized that this is the initial step, and as we take this further, we will attempt to involve projects that are that will include audiology students as well, and hopefully then speech therapy students and so on, and data visualization, hopefully using the digital dome as well. But in terms of knowledge and skills, I think the students, the digital arts students, have each gained tremendous amount of knowledge in audiology and often come back with comments that have really surprised us as supervisors in terms of their knowledge of the hearing space. And I'm not sure if any of these students want to unmute and just elaborate a little bit more on that. No? Okay.
Thank you. Mantoa, do you want to unmute and Go ahead with your question, please. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I really want to congratulate this group for doing this. This collaboration is Ubuntu in action. You then showing your students that we can actually work across departments and disciplines, and it's really a good thing. But also as a background, because I've got a background of pediatrics, I really loved what they are doing with kids under 5. I just wanted to find out whether there will be an opportunity for these to be patented as well as commercialized at some point, because maybe hospitals, clinics, private practices can actually benefit from this. Thank you.
Thanks for that question. Yes, definitely. We are definitely looking at eventual patenting. The step we're at the moment is we've just had one of the master's students' proposals approved. So congratulations, Musa. And we are working on looking at how we're going to validate the tool, how we're going to test it, and then eventually looking at developing prototypes and developing patents and so on. Absolutely. And it's going to be really great because it's South African relevant, and it's going to fill a gap in the market and a gap in healthcare that is really, really, really needs to be filled. So thank you for that. Dr. Alu has a comment.
Yeah,
Yes, please
colleagues,
go ahead.
just wanted to let you know we are also working with the School of Therapeutic Sciences on developing VR and video games that help with recovery from accidents and other things like that. So we are working with other schools in the university.
That is remarkable. That is excellent. Are there any more comments, questions? I think there's an overwhelming support for these very, yes, Ubuntu in action, from here and now, audiology, video games, echoes of sound, virtual reality for relevant vestibular assessment, reclaiming the colored identity. I think these are such beautiful initiatives, and I wish the students, well on their finalizing it and moving forward with this, getting it painted, getting it, put up where we can all have access to it at some point. But Doc, I'm just going to come back to you, and I'd want to see if there's any comments that you'd like to conclude with before we end this session.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Yes, I just want to echo your sentiments that the students have done amazing work, but also just to remind the WITS community, to inform the WITS community that we are going to be sending out sort of demos of things for research. We do need comments, and we do need people to engage with this and give us feedback. So if everybody would be willing to engage and to participate in the research projects once we have ethical clearance, of course, we really would appreciate that. So thank you for this opportunity.
Great, thank you. Thank you to your team, and all the best. And thank you, colleagues, for joining us in this session. We wish you well, and we will go into our next session, which begins at, I'm just checking, 15:35. And you have the various links to the breakout rooms which you have opted for. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Bye.